Let's move to the Celtics. I actually am very happy with this matchup. I would have preferred the Hawks instead of the Heat, just in case, we don't know what this Celtics team does every night. I mean, they just go into the tank sometimes. And I feel like maybe the mental warrior Heat would have bothered them a little bit more than this Hawks team. But I don't know. I think Trey Young does not fit against the defense like this. Like, he's going to struggle.
Yeah. There would have been some scar tissue there from last season with the Heat being a shot away from knocking him off. But look, you mentioned that the Celtics, you don't know what they're going to do every night. Their offense is so jump shot reliant that there is going to be like wild variations in what they give you from one game to the next. That's the nature of a jump shooting team. This is where someone like Brogdon is so important for the Celtics because, he's an excellent jump shooter, but his primary goal on offense is to burrow his shoulder into your chest and push you into the hoop. So
he's gotten a lot better shooting wise this year. You have to give him that.
He's always been a really good shooter, to be honest. It's just that in his other teams, he was just a shooter rather than a driver. That's probably unfair on his time in Indiana, but this season he stands out because he is so different to the rest of these guys. It's
and
either one-on-one
looks. I mean, if you're playing for Indiana compared to, hey, there's Brown, there's Tatum. I mean, a lot less attention there too.
Well, he was carrying the ball in Indiana, whereas here he can play off the ball. So we see that spot-up shooting a lot more. We saw it in Milwaukee, to be honest. His spot-up shooting's always been really good. But, you're right. Defensively, this is the side that really, we saw what Miami did to Trey Young last season. This time around, not only do you have the reigning defensive player of the year as a point guard, and yes, he's dropped away a lot, but he's been replaced in the, I suppose, defensive pecking order by Derek White, who, if I had a ballot, and give me a ballot, you NBA cowards, I would have him first team all defense. I think White's been unbelievable on D.
Based on the block numbers he's had at the guard position?
It's not even just the blocks. Like, if you watch him, just the way he stays chest to chest, like he annoys the shit out of other point guards. He seems to have picked up some of Smart's physicalness.
I don't know what his numbers.
I'm not even sure that's a word, but physicality, that's the word.
His plus minus this year was outrageous.
Yeah. And this is a guy who doesn't create his plus minus. And look, there's always a lot of noise in plus minus, but White's plus minus doesn't come from his offensive contributions.
No,
it comes from him playing D. So, you start with Marcus Smart guarding you, and when he goes to the bench, you get Derek White guarding you, or you might get Brogdon, who's not super quick, but he's big and strong and physical and knows his angles. They might decide to play a bigger player on you and decide to throw, Brown on you for 3 or 4 possessions. Like, oh, Jesus, when does this end?
Yeah.
So in that sense, so much depends on DeJounte Murray. So much depend. This is a big, big series for John Collins. This is the sort of series where he could actually find a little bit. And I really do expect Quinn Snyder to go against what he did in Utah, where fair enough, he had to rely on Gobert, so he had to play with a genuine center most of the time. Even though Capella and Okongwu are on the Hawks roster, I'm looking to see whether Quinn Snyder goes quote-unquote centerless and plays a stretch 4 in John Collins at the 5 and see whether he can stretch Rob Williams out a little bit. Particularly if Grant Williams is on the floor or someone like that, someone who's not necessarily a big offensive threat.
I've been really impressed with Okongwu. I feel like if the Hawks are actually going to take a step forward, they need to cash in the Collins piece or a Capella or one of those guys and give him.
It'll be Capella. Yeah. I mean, they've been trying to trade John Collins since Moses was a boy, and it's just not going to happen. So, and he's dropped off John Collins, realistically. If anyone's going to get traded, it's Capella. And he's pushing 30, so it's right to the point where a center that relies on his athleticism might start to drop off. And you're absolutely right, Trey. Atlanta need to see what they've got in Okongwu. But talking about this series, I'm talking about John Collins playing center. There are times when the Celtics play Rob Williams and Horford together.
Yeah.
Given Okongwu is only about 6'7", 6'8", there might be times where we see Capella and Okongwu on the floor together, which could be, horrific for spacing. It might be a case if you have to play Bogdanovich, Murray, and Young together and play 3 guards and 2 centers, which I don't know what that does to the defense on Brown and Tatum realistically, but we might see some really funky lineups from Atlanta here in an effort to just try and throw Boston and a rookie head coach just off their cadence a bit and just see whether they can steal a game.
Yeah, I just, based on the things that we've gotten from the Hawks this year and the matchup that we have in terms of defensive pieces that they can throw at Trey Young, I just don't see how they're going to put up much of a fight.
No, nor do I. I have precisely zero faith in any team led by Trey Young. He just does not strike me as a leader of men.
He beat Miami.
Yeah.
Not saying much.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was Miami playing badly, and that's what it took to beat them.
Saddiq Bey has helped them.
Yes. It gives them some shooting from the wing, which they desperately need because Hunter
they lost it with Herbert.
Progressed. Yeah, absolutely. And Hunter hasn't progressed as just an offensive threat in general, let alone a shooter. He's only a second-year player, but he's not great defensively. His decision-making is erratic, doesn't even begin to describe it. So, if everything clicks for Atlanta, they can win a game or two here. But again, I don't see it with the Hawks. I really don't. I honestly think this will be a sweep, and it will lead to some major, major, major changes in Atlanta this offseason.
Yeah, I think a sweep's coming, and a big trade wouldn't surprise me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we've seen it's all over the internet that Young for Gobert plus a little piece or two here and there works. So yeah, that could be the ultimate, the most challenge trade ever concocted.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a part of it.
All right, let's move.
we do have Gobert's old coach in Atlanta now. So
yeah, I know. I tried to put a trade machine in for Capella, John Collins, and some picks for Gobert.
Yeah, I don't think that would work. Just on a basketball sense, I think you need to get a better lead guard, or someone who can at least
Minnesota wise, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if the Hawks want to do that.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, if they're going to trade for another center, you've already got Capella, you've got a Okongwu coming through. Why do it? Why do it? Yeah.